Okay, well, I thought we'd talk here just for a minute about sights, the rear sight actually on the Sheridans. And I have one here that's, with the thumb hold down safety is probably late 50s or early 60s. And you can see the sight is held on with one screw here. The earlier ones were soldered on, and I don't have an example of that, but this one here has the one screw and dimples on the other side. So this is pretty easy to remove. Now this is a later model Sheridan. It's got the flat top with no grooves, and it has a serial number which indicates it was made in 1977. And if you can see, there's no screw on this side, no screw on the other side, and instead it's held in by pressure of this piece here against a wedge here. This wedge is inserted, you can see that wedge is inserted between the tube, the pump tube, and the barrel. And one of the problems with these Sheridans in this era and with this style of a sight is that over time this is putting pressure on this wedge, and the wedge will tend to separate the barrel in this location. And once your barrel starts to separate, it doesn't generally get better. So you're going to have to deal with it at some point. And I thought we'd just show how to pull this off. And actually, I started it just for purposes of illustration. You can see normally the sight would be flush with the front of the wedge here, but I've already started tapping it off. Okay, this might illustrate it a little bit better. You can see the sight, and it's pressing on the wedge down underneath the sight here. And like I say, that pressure will tend to cause the barrel to separate. So what you do is you take a screwdriver and you can insert it so that it holds under the wedge, and then take a gentle mallet like this one, and you tap the and you just tap the sight off. You can see it's starting to come out. The hard thing is keeping all of this lined up while you're filming it so that you don't put a scratch into your gun. You see that? No, that's not right. There we go. Okay, hopefully that'll hold for a minute. Now we're making a little progress here. And just a little further. Okay, what happened there, the wedge popped out right there. And so the front sight, you should be able to tap it off now. Yeah, there it goes. There's the front sight. We can pull it off. There's the other wedge. You can see this barrel has not started to separate. Okay, so with the sight off, you can do any number of things. You can install a different kind of sight. You can drill and tap for a peep sight, mount a scope. So there's any number of ways to go about putting a sight back on. If you really like the old sight that you just took off, the issue is it's too hard or too tight, and it's squeezing these wedges. with too much force, and that's what separates the barrel. So if you did decide you wanted to keep the old sight, you can set it up. Well, normally you would take this off. You'd set it up on a 90-degree angle, part like that, and then you would tap on it. What you're trying to do is separate these two sides so that you'll be able to essentially put it back on by hand without too much effort. And if you do that, it takes enough of the pressure off of the wedges so that they're no longer putting pressure on the seam between the tube and the barrel, and it's more likely that you're not going to run into an issue of barrel separation.